Yo, what's going on, folks? It's me, Justin, and today we're going to be talking about how you can use logical fallacies to increase your authority on your website. And I mean both your authority, as in user comes on and they listen to what you have to say, and your domain authority on that SEO front. You get them back links. So check this out. One click of the button, boom, we're in the computer. So perceived authority and appeal to authority being that logical fallacy in which I'm no psychology expert. I'm no logic, genius. But it's basically like, oh, that is supposed to be somebody who knows what they're talking about or something that knows what they're talking about. I'm going to listen to them. That's all it is. And you're manufacturing that. You are basically creating your own authority. Check this out. So picture these two things. Number one, Joe the blogger. Just in your head, close your eyes and imagine, you don't have to close your eyes if you don't want to. Imagine Joe the blogger. He's probably got, in my head, I'm thinking of the stereotypical hipster that I've actually never seen in real life, but they're always on like TV and stuff, flannel, skinny jeans-ish, some Red Wing boots, a scarf and a beanie, even though it's July. Probably sitting at a coffee shop, doing more, drinking coffee than actually writing, whatever. Something like this. We got visuals, all right? That guy. Now I want you to picture research and development department, okay? Because to me, we'll just blow it up the picture because I'm just going to describe it anyway. This is when I hear research and development department, this is what I picture. Lab coats, computer in the back there, a lot of room for experiments and testing, a bunch of supplies that are just there, kind of sterile, very much a place that research is done and development is done. But what if those two things are the exact same? Research and development department has an air of expertise and authority when you say it out loud. But what if Joe the blogger is researching articles and developing them on his MacBook Pro? It's the same thing, but it's the same thing. It's just I'm messing around on Canva. You know what I'm talking about. So like job titles, it's all bullshit. The vice president of the United States is kind of up there, right? They're pretty up there. Vice president at a bank, middle management. They've been there a few years, But, and then vice president at a manufacturing plant is, you never see them because they're always out schmoozing with the, wherever. They're all the same title, but they all mean incredibly different things, and they all have very different roles, I guess. But when you hear vice president, maybe not you, but when general population hears vice president, they go, oh, that's somebody important, because president has a vice president, the company has a vice president, and the vice president at their company is kind of this, almost like a warrant officer. They kind of, ghosts, right? But it's all made up, and most job titles are just kind of willy-nilly thrown together. They don't mean anything. But if you attach some air of authority to it, they are perceived as being more than what they really are. And as you know, being in the pay-to-play, or not pay-to-play space, but the online space, everything is pay-to-play. If there's a top 10 alternatives to HubSpot, which is a CRM, somebody writes an article, top 10 alternatives to HubSpot, it's either the number one thing is either the one that pays the most, as in they said, hey, we want to pay you to be number one. They pay the most on the referral front. Hey, for every person you send, you'll get 20% of whatever they spend forever. Or it's the actual company that wrote it, their number. They put themselves as number one because they want to get the most people to buy their software. General public still doesn't know that. Like I just said about job titles, Gen Pop, they don't. That's a foreign concept to them. So this really is the best alternative to HubSpot. That's what I got to go with because it's on the top of this list, not knowing they paid to get there. So naming your site, and I got this kind of concept a few years back when I was watching or rewatching The Wolf of Wall Street. They went from, whatever their name was before Stratton Oakmont, and then they changed and said, hey, we're going after the big boys now. We're not dealing with these, plumbers. We're going after whales. And to go after whales, you have to have a name that sounds like it has some legs underneath it. All right. Same if you watch Boiler Room. Basically, any of those like scummy sales movies, they all have a name that's just like, oh, like holy smokes, like that sounds important. Because again, Gen Pop doesn't understand that. Just make the shit up. It doesn't. There's no naming standard. There's no naming conventions. There's no central authority body that regulates what you call it. You could have. Listen, for the few months that I was in a boiler room kind of sales role, we would, okay, you're a whatever your title is. Okay. And then like 3 weeks later you go, I'm going to put an executive in front of it. You know why? Because it doesn't mean anything. Nothing's changed. I don't get paid more. But when I'm doing a cold email, when I have executive consultant on there, they go, oh, this guy's important. And one little change and you get, more responses. And that's it. So you can do that with your website. Instead of being abmexpert.com, you could say something like something agency or something consulting or something marketing or something. I'm trying to think of another word that kind of I don't know. You know what I'm fucking talking about, though. Assuming you're, some kind of business development affiliate, you want to do sales development, marketing, MarTech software, CRMs, email marketing tools, auto dialers, calendar booking stuff, all kinds of things that a marketing sales team would need to use to grow their business. ABM expert, that to me, that sounds like one person, right? That is one person who is talking about their experience as an ABM person, and that's what they have to go off of. Whereas something agency, I don't know why I picked Lucid. I think it's because it's shorter. They might be the same exact thing. It might be the same. Me talking about ABM stuff and me saying I'm an agency. It's the same thing, but the agency to general population, they go, oh, it's an agency. They got a lot going on back there. How many times you hear about the one, I started a one-person agency. It's like, bro, you're a freelancer. But when you say agency, it sounds a lot more important and a lot more expansive than freelancer. And not only that, but the expertise is allocated to the business and not the individual. Meaning that if I started ABM expert and it's my face on there, the only the expertise that I have that I can showcase is the expertise that I have that I can showcase. My LinkedIn is full of, a history of ABM expertise with companies and getting them results, right? Whereas ABM marketing, terrible name, their expertise is tied to the business, right? So on an individual level, it doesn't matter what I've done. What has the business done as a whole? And, it could be some businesses that you started or none. Or you don't have to showcase any case studies if you don't want to, because you're not trying to land clients. You're trying to just get affiliate commissions, whatever. Not only that, but we'll go back to me, an individual versus me, an agency, but also an individual, but I don't have to, I can hide behind the agency name. So years of experience, me being 32, I'm 32. Yeah. I can only have, there's a finite amount of experience I can have, right? If I start working at 16, you know what I mean? There's only so much I could have done. And then not only that, most experience prior to starting, we'll say ABM marketing, which I don't do, but as an example, prior to that, prior experience is irrelevant. So we'll say 8, 9 years, 10 years tops of expertise that I can accumulate. However, even having, 10 people that have 3 years of experience, they already have more experience cumulative than me. They can also produce more in a day than I can. I got, on a typical work day, I'd have 8 hours of work, whereas they could pump out 80 hours of work, of man hours in that same time frame. And I know sidebar, I hate that years of experience is used as a metric of expertise because it's so nonsensical. But again, it's not what I think. It's what general population perceives as being, which is years of expertise equals expertise. 20 years of experience means you're an expert, right? Whereas the results you got could have been less than what somebody could do in 3 years of of doing something. But that's neither here nor there. Well, no, it is here and there and now, because again, you're appealing to what Gen Pop thinks. So let's talk about, again, authority. So that's on the authority front as far as the perceived authority that you can have by saying you're an agency or a consultancy or a big business, as opposed to just being a one-man band doing this damn thing. Similarly, if, let's hypothetically, you have the exact same, you're ranking number 1, number 2, both these domains are yours. You do the exact same study, you have the exact same presentation of that study for results. 45% of Gen Z smoke cigarettes. A study done by ABM expert. I don't know why. Bear with me here. The consultancy, the business, the whatever, is going to get that backlink more times than not than Joe individual. And I'm talking about like from news sources. You could pitch this from an agency or a company much easier than an individual on a PR level. You could, hey, we did this study and we found that, again, 45% of Gen Z smoke cigarettes or are going to smoke cigarettes. Coming from Lucid Marketing, then they go to your website and they go, oh, you don't even have to say we have case studies of doing ABM or whatever for cigarette companies. You can just say, you can have a page on your site that says, who we work with, who we serve, and under there, a drop down, tobacco industry. And you have a whole page that's just built out talking about how you love to work with tobacco companies and we would love to work with you, apply here. Again, you don't actually have clients. You don't want to do client work, but you create the site so it appears as though, 1, you have clients, 2, you want more clients, 3, you're not just some guy in his bedroom. And that works. And it works. I think that's the last slide. Pretty sure that's the last slide. That's the last slide. That's what it is. So instead of going in, creating a new website, calling it, I don't know, like I said, ABM expert, going with ABM marketing. ABM, well, that's, don't use ABM marketing because that's what the M stands for, is marketing. AB consulting, and then it's just so much easier. It's so much easier. Just believe me. I'm an authority.